back again. I know a lot of y'all thought I was coming back.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy ChamArt the artist. I'm back again with a brand new banger for y'all. I know it's been a minute since I posted on the channel. You know, I've been busy with school. I've been busy with college, just low-key kicking my ass, but fuck it, bro. I gotta drop another banger for y'all. And yeah, let's get into it. So for today's video, I wanted to do an Invincible related video. Season 4 is already out, so I just wanted to do that. So without further ado, let's get started with the drawing of
Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Answer me!
Oh shit, Sharza made this?
Okay, so to start off with this drawing, I'm gonna draw Mark in this action pose. Well, yeah, action pose. So basically, what I'm gonna do, right, I'm gonna have him look like he's, I guess, charging up like a punch. Or like he's, as you can see, like if y'all saw just now, he's like holding his fist back. So basically, I wanted to make it look like he's getting ready to punch Conquest, who I'm drawing right now. So basically, what I want to do for him specifically is make it look like he's imposing, right? But I don't want it to look like it's at a point where he's taking up much more space than Mark is. So I guess I didn't really think too much about that, which is something I really need to, I guess, really pay attention to, because obviously I did have a whole lecture on negative space in one of my modules, so hopefully I do try and incorporate that, especially if I do more like fighting related drawings. So I already added details for Mark and Conquest, so I just finished coloring in Mark. So now I'm adding like those little tears and, you know, cuts. So basically I'm drawing like the parts of his skin that are like exposed, because as y'all can see in the image and in the final drawing, this is like a battle damaged version of Mark, who is of course donning the black and blue suit that he does get in the 3rd season of the Invincible show and in the comics as well. So I wanted to draw him in that suit, and then I just want to, you know, go absolutely crazy with it, you know, add in a lot of blood, a lot of gore, make it seem like, you know, the fight that he's having with Conquest is really like, I guess, the fight of his life essentially. Fight of his life is a bit, I guess, it's a bit of an understatement, but yeah, I think this is where like, this is the point where Mark really like locks in and decides that he needs to, where in his mind he feels that he needs to, you know, take these guys down permanently, like he needs to kill these guys. So I want to make this look as impactful as I can, so something akin to what the show did in the season 3 finale, what the comics did. So I also want to, you know, capture some of the vibes and the feelings that Ryan Otley puts into, you know, his Invincible drawings, because one thing I really love about his comics, or about those Invincible comics, is Ryan Otley's artwork. Like, he is easily one of like my favorite artists, and someone that I, you know, really study a lot in terms of like how I apply some of his techniques and, I guess, elements into like my own drawings, because his style very much, his drawing style also, like, you know, inspired my own like art, like my own art style as well. So in a sense, I want to like pay homage and pay tribute to what Ryan Otley has done with the Invincible comics as well. But also Cory Walker is a phenomenal artist as well. I also pay close attention to him and how he adds details to the characters and really like brings these characters to life. So both Ryan Otley and Cory Rocker, including Robert Kirkman, so big ups to them for, you know, giving us, you know, the Invincible comics, the Invincible TV show, and giving us this amazing franchise as well. Because had I not found Invincible, I don't really think I'd really get inspired to, you know, really elevate my art style. So I just wanted to, you know, capture that vibe here, especially with this drawing. So in a sense, this is like my own take on how I'd imagine the Mark and Conquest vibe, but, you know, also paying tribute to the, you know, creators behind this spectacular scene. So yeah, right now I'm just adding some details, adding some shading to Mark's costume, and just playing around with, like, I guess different color tones, because right now I'm not really sure as to what I want to go for as yet. So I'm really just trying to lay out the foundation and the various like layers, as you can see with the shading. So I just want to fix this up, because that didn't look like black earlier. So now I'm gonna add detail to, like, you know, Mark's like exposed skin basically. So you can see like his fingers are exposed a bit, and then you guys can already tell by the blues I added some half tones and some cross hatching just to, you know, add in a bit more detail to the drawing. Because one thing about me, especially as an artist, as I wouldn't say established artist, but with the experience I somewhat have, I've now, you know, I've learned to, you know, just have the patience to just add in as much detail to my drawings, even though it does get very, very tedious, especially now when I'm like pre-recording the stuff for YouTube and editing everything together. It does take a bit of time, especially trying to like go step by step, explain every process as to which tools I used, which techniques that I apply to a specific character or an specific object too, and things like that. So yeah, as of right now, you can tell based on like the pace I'm moving, I pay super close attention to like the details I'm adding in, because I don't know, like, I guess you could say I am somewhat of a perfectionist, especially when it comes to like my work and my art, because to me, if it looks sloppy, imagine how the other person would feel. So that's just like the little criticism I take in like my own head, is like adding as much detail as possible, even if you think it's a bit too much, even if you think it's necessary. I always add in detail whenever I think it needs it, especially like right now, because initially I was gonna go for a more gradient type look with the coloring, but I just realized it just wasn't the original vision I was going for with this drawing and with the overall artwork, because I feel like if I added gradients, everything probably would just fallen flat. So as of right now, you can tell that I am slightly using gradient layers. So I did make a duplicate copy of the actual like figure of Mark, and because I realized the gradient layer was not going to work for the final product, I decided, let me add in the cross hatching, let me add in the various half tones, change up the sizes so everything fits, everything looks intricate, and everything coordinates nicely in terms of the coloring, the shading, the numerous amount of details, especially like right now with the blood, which is why in my head I'm thinking, I'm so glad I added in those half tones. And the cross hatching because I've somewhat improved on them because I'm not really a stranger to them because if you guys have seen the Superman drawing and the Batman drawing that I did upload last year now, sometime last year, late last year, somewhere there. So I was like, okay, maybe I should make use of more cross-hatching, more half-tones, just playing around with different textures to, you know, add in that sense of motion to my drawings. So I'm just gonna fix up the outlines and the blood stains. I also added some blood stains on Conquest as well, but as you can tell, compared to the ones I added on Mark, they're not as prominent. You can tell that, and you can even like see by like Conquest's Viltrumite attire that it's not damaged. I mean, you can see the bloodstains here and there, but obviously because he does take a beating in the actual fight between him and Mark. But you can tell, like, you know, by the like power dynamic in a sense. One thing I really like about my art style is that I guess it's the line work, because I think it really brings my drawings to life. So I'm just gonna add those there, fix up Conquest hand. I tried to capture as much of the footage as I can because I know that, you know, as I'm currently editing this video, it is gonna be much longer than, okay, I wouldn't say much longer, but I guess it's longer than I had anticipated originally, especially because I did a lot of like screen grabs and screen recordings of me just adding in as much detail as possible. Like even with Conquest here right now, I did try the whole halftones and cross hatchings, because initially when I tried doing it, especially when drawing characters with hair, especially like facial hair, I thought it wouldn't work. Well, in my head it's not supposed to work, but somehow I managed to find a way to make it work, which is something I'm really proud of, especially with this specific drawing as well. So now I'm just gonna finish off with drawing his gauntlet. I'm not sure if this is like the right color, because I know in the show it doesn't really, it looks more like platinum gold. Actually, yeah, I'd be wrong if I were to assume that. I'm not that great with colors, guys, so if I start sounding a bit shaky with like my color theory, yeah, it just, yeah, you're gonna have to just minus that. But yeah, so now I'm just adding in more details, adding a bit of that shine and metallic feel, just so that it doesn't look bland and boring. Because I think for me, that's one of the many things that stands out to me, especially when it comes to like Conquest. Because one thing I always take into consideration when it comes to me drawing characters, I need to add in as much detail as to, I have to add in as much detail, especially when it comes to the specific aspects or character traits of said character. So like, for example, like with Conquest, his glove is, I guess, is more prominent feature of his, I guess, design and his whole aesthetic. And then there's of course like the scar as well, which I will add in later on, but I just want to, you know, get the whole cross-hatching detail out the way. So I'm already adding the scar right now, and I'm also trying to add in some blood stains, because I didn't like how they looked on Conquest before initially. So yeah, I had to, you know, restart the whole outline drawing because I wanted to make sure the blood stains look proper. So this is what the actual, so this is like, I guess, the like the rough version of the drawing. sketch. So I duplicated this layer. Okay, I didn't duplicate this layer. I created a new one, drew over the pencil layer, and what I usually do for that one is create outlines. So I start with the pen tool and then finalize the actual outlines of the drawing, just to give an idea of like what the characters would look like or what the objects would look like, especially when I like apply it in future artwork. And then over here is the colors. As you can tell, I went online, I found as many reference images of Conquest and Mark in his black and blue suit, and I used those for color palettes so that I don't have to go to my color wheel or color collection on the sketchbook app and just search for different colors. So this is like the final rendering, shading techniques, details, and you can see the little blood stains and then of course my little watermark there. I didn't mean to put it there, but I usually put them at the end. This is like the background. So what I did for this background specifically is make it look like it's like an impact background, like a flashbang type thing, to almost show the intensity of the fight between Mark and Conquest. And then finally, we have the final finished product. And here you can see my signature at the top right by Mark's arm. And then you can tell like everything is just like very grotesque. Everything is intense. It's bloody. It's messy. So I really just wanted to, go all out with this drawing. Not make it, look generic in a sense. Cause sometimes I look at some of my old artworks and I think, okay, this one isn't as good as the last one. Or this one could be better had I made it look less generic, but I don't know. As an artist, like I did say before, actually, yeah, like I've probably said before, as artists, we like to experiment a lot. We like to find new ways to, I guess, crack the code of our respective drawing styles. Because at the end of the day, like, as an artist, you are your own worst critic. You are your own worst critic, and that's how I feel sometimes. Like, I over-criticize myself a lot, especially when I think, oh hey, this might be my favorite drawing. Or, yeah, I don't know, this could be my new favorite drawing, the way it's looking right now. But when I come to like the final execution, where in my head I'm thinking, oh, okay, this actually turned out better than how I expected. And especially with this one, I never expected this to look anything. I never expected this drawing specifically of Mark and Conquest to look as phenomenal. Because in my head I'm thinking, okay, I'm just adding in random shit. I'm adding in random details, random textures, which could either make or break the final thing. So yeah, I just wanted to, I guess, play around with that, and me wanting to experiment a little bit here with, especially with this drawing. I'm glad I took that leap of faith because, it's really good to broaden your creative limits, really push yourself. So yeah, but anyway, I'm getting off topic. This is what the final drawing looks like. You can tell that this drawing between Mark and Conquest, it looks very intense. It looks, I think that's the best word I could use to describe this overall drawing, which is what I wanted to capture, that feeling of intensity, to show that these guys are really going toe to toe. They're exchanging blows. Everything just looks, bloody and messy. Like, you can even tell, like, compared to Conquest, he does have, like, some bloodstains here and there on his gauntlet, his face, a little bit on his suit or his Viltrumite attire, but then compared to Mark, you can tell he's more like battered and bruised, because you know this fight does take place after the whole aftermath of the Invincible War, where Mark was fighting his different variants. And speaking of, I might draw some. I do have some Invincible drawings planned, because I am gonna draw Thrag next. I am gonna draw Mark in his classic suit again, but I'm gonna draw Mark and Nolan and Oliver and Alan as well. So yeah, I'll probably be, I don't know, this might start like a series where I draw iconic moments from, I guess, various movies, shows, or games. So just like iconic moments or like freeze frame moments where like people pause mid-episode or mid-scene. So it's like, that's basically the whole reasoning behind the Mark, well, this Mark and Conquest drawing, was to, I guess, because it's like the most paused moment for me in the comics and the Invincible TV show. So yeah, I wanted to capture that feeling. But yeah, as of right now, this video is actually much longer than I anticipated. This video is almost hitting the 30-minute mark. So I think I'm just gonna, call it a day, cut it off here. I'm really tired. It is currently 11:41 p.m. as I'm recording this. So yeah, I did mean to release this video. I was meant to release this video on Monday, but then I pushed it back because I'm busy with assignments. So I pushed it back to Wednesday, and then I was like, okay, no, that's when I'm handing in assignments.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
So I was like, okay, I need to post this on Friday so I can at least work on other stuff as well, because I do have some other videos planned as well. So I will pop up, I will show you like the screen grab here so you can guys see y'all can see like what I'm gonna cook up next for future videos and future videos as well, whenever I get a chance to post. And then obviously I did start streaming a while back. I'm not sure when I'm gonna get back to streaming, because right now my schedule is looking a bit scuffed because of college and assignments. So yeah, it's all over the place, my schedule. But guys, I can assure you, I got some new shit on the way. If you wanna see more of my stuff, as always, you guys know what to do. Like this video, subscribe, share it around, hit the bell to get notified for new videos. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for me. And yeah, stay safe, guys. Be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves. And yeah, cheers, guys.
Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the bell to get notified when I upload new videos. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace.